Well, we certainly didn't see that coming. We certainly did not see that coming. A very, very comprehensive, comfortable win for Derry at the home of the All Ireland champions. Tyrone were poor for the majority of the 70 minutes. Make no mistake about it. They never got going. Sloppy passes, no real movement up top. The same kind of Tyrone we've seen really throughout the year. And that was why I always felt that they would get beat in this Ulster Championship. I still think they'll regroup and come back stronger throughout the qualifiers. Still plenty of quality players in there. They're still the All Ireland champions. Let's, give them a lot of credit. But today, the day definitely does belong to Derry, who are absolutely superb from start to finish. Yes, Tyrone did go down to 14 men, which was, you could say, a little bit controversial. Maybe was it a soft red card? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. The Conor McKenna red card? Absolutely not. I mean, come on. Surely that's a yellow, not a red. Crazy decision there from the referee. But look, I think Derry were the better side. You have to give them credit for it. I think if Tyrone stay on the pitch with 15 men, I think Derry win the game anyways. But Tyrone are beaten. They are out of the Ulster Senior Football Championship. The All-Ireland champions are humbled in their own back garden. Let's do this. Yeah, as we were saying there in the intro, an 11-point win for Derry over Tyrone. I mean, who expected that? I mean, I think a few people maybe predicted that, there could be a shock here. There could be a surprise, maybe given Derry's obviously league form and how much they've been improving in the last couple of years. Obviously, Rory Gallagher, one of the best coaches in the game. Absolutely, make no mistake about that. And Tyrone have obviously not been at their brilliant best this year. They have been quite inconsistent. It hasn't quite been there. But I think with them at home at Healy Park, having come through, Fermanagh, obviously building a bit of confidence there, getting Conor McKenna back from his suspension, obviously getting his suspension overturned. You felt like Tyrone at home against a team like Derry, they should have enough to withstand the test that is Derry. And maybe a few people were saying Derry might cause a shock, but nobody, from what I heard anyway, expected Derry to win as convincingly as they did. And yes, obviously, when you're playing against 14 men for, over a half, what was it, 40, 45 minutes, Derry were playing with the extra man. For sure, that's going to make a big difference, make no mistake about it. But, Tyrone still could have played a lot better. They were just wasteful on the ball. Kickouts weren't quite there. I don't know what it was. It was just slow and a lack of urgency, really. They didn't really look like they ever wanted to really get back into the game. Conor Moyler, he was the main, everything good was coming through him, really. His passes, picking out McCurry and a few of the other lads as well in that Tyrone attack. But they just didn't quite get enough. Conor McKenna was very quiet. You'd almost think he was suspended up until, he got his red card. And then you were reminded he was actually on the pitch because he was very, very quiet. McGeary didn't really do much. Peter Hart with a few poor passes as well. But Derry's energy, intensity was just there to see. And you've seen Rory Gallagher down on the touchline. I mean, you'd love to, I was nearly thinking I'd nearly rather just watch him on the sideline than the game because it was, he was going absolutely mental, shouting at every ball, appealing every decision. That's what you want to see. You want to see that passion, hunger, desire. We don't have enough of that in Gaelic games anymore, unfortunately. Too many managers, pundits or whatever who want to walk around in suits and cross their legs, and they're chatting, let's remember what this is. It's a sport and it's not a, TED talk, you know what I mean? Like, so, Derry, fantastic. The energy and the intensity that they brought, as I said, and they were so workmanlike. They were just getting those big tackles in. They were up for the occasion. Benny Heron was brilliant, I thought, in the game as well. Some of his forward runs as well. And they just picked their moments very well, very well to get forward. They waited for the right moments. And they were superb. And obviously at the start of the game, they started the brighter Niall Loughlin, obviously, and Conor Doherty kicking the early scores. But the big turning point really was in the 26th minute when Brian Kennedy was sent off. We'll be curious to see your opinions in the comments down below in terms of the red card. Like, obviously, he's kicking out. I suppose according to the rule book, I guess it's a straight red, but I thought it was a little soft, to be honest. Like, he didn't really make that much contact. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing that. It's a bit, you shouldn't be doing that, putting your team under pressure. But was it a straight red? I don't know. I think a yellow would have been more fair there, in my opinion. It didn't really make that much contact, really. So, I would have personally gone with a yellow there. I think that would have been the better decision. But at the same time, he's obviously putting his team at jeopardy there, and that's not the best thing, because from there, really, that was really when Derry obviously started to kick on. I mean, just a couple of minutes later, they win the penalty. Brilliant finish, obviously, from McGuigan, and Derry built up a 6-point lead, and the lead was just very, very manageable. And you knew with Rory Gallagher and with the way he sets up teams, I mean, they weren't like, over the top blanket defense, everyone behind the ball or anything like that, but they were very well organized, and you just felt like this is going to be very hard for Tyrone to get a goal here. And they needed a goal, and especially with the way they were playing as well. You just didn't see a goal coming at all. You just didn't. Did they have a goal chance? I don't even think they did at all. So Derry were just very, very comfortable. They held possession brilliantly. Connor Glass, Noel Toner in around the middle, Emmett Bradley when he came off the bench as well, all had it down to a T. Garrett McKinless, what a performance from him as well. So many turnovers, winning a lot of possession, and obviously broke forward. And I think he was the one who set up the penalty as well, or won the penalty. So he was absolutely brilliant. Make no mistake about that. A few comments coming in here. The Wanderer 777 says Derry should have tried to lob the keeper at least 3 times. They could have, yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to be giving away possession. They didn't need a goal as such. So I think keeping the ball was the right decision on that occasion. Derry were very good as well. Patrick Silk says there. Kevin McGinney says poor Tyrone side today. They couldn't get up and going from the start. They definitely couldn't. They just lacked energy, really. It was similar. Their first half performance was very similar to that of the game against Fermanagh, but Derry are just a different animal. And that's the difference really with the Ulster Championship, maybe compared to Dublin and Leinster, or obviously Dublin aren't that great at the minute, but generally speaking, Kerry obviously in Munster, they can afford to make mistakes, they can afford to get errors, still come through games, and obviously there'll be some learnings there. Whereas you make big mistakes in these kind of games against tough top quality opposition. Derry could you will be punished, and that's exactly what we've seen. Shane B says hopefully Tyrone meet Mayo in the qualifiers to get one of them out. Yeah, those qualifiers, by the way, are going to be very, very tasty indeed. I mean, you've got Armagh there at the minute. Obviously, you've got Mayo, as we said before. You'll have Clare in there. You'll have Louth, who will be in there as well. A lot of very interesting teams in that qualifier draw. And Tyrone and Mayo, if they drew each other in the opening round, that would be mental. I'm not too sure if All-Ireland champions, All-Ireland finalists from the previous year have ever gone into the qualifiers, the opening, the first round of the qualifiers. I have no idea if that's ever happened before. But yeah, Shane also says it's a blatant red. If you kick out, it's a red, simple as, no matter how much contact. Yeah, like according to the rule book, absolutely, that's fair. But I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. In my opinion, I just think it was just a yellow. But yeah, but look, would it have made that much of a difference? I don't know. I think Derry would have probably won the game anyways. Maybe it would have been a little bit closer. You were thinking of maybe if Tyrone bring this to a 3-4 point game, get the crowd behind them and kind of have a bit of energy sort of about themselves, they might be able to sneak back into it. But that just never happens at all. It just didn't happen at all. And Derry got better as the game went on as well. Shane McGuigan, brilliant. He scored 1-4, some brilliant points in the second half from him. Noel Loughlin with 7 points in total. He was very good. So Derry just managed the game very, very well, and huge result. I mean, 11 points against Tyrone in their own backyard. Like, that's quite the statement. That is quite the statement indeed. And I mean, where does, for people who are watching, I'd be curious to know, like, where does this put Derry now does it put them in the conversation for an All-Ireland? I don't know. Maybe it does, because look, they've just beaten the All-Ireland champions, and they've beaten them very convincingly. And I know you'd say, okay, yeah, Tyrone were down to 14 men from the 26th minute onwards. Obviously, you're not going to be playing against 14 men all the time. Sometimes these things will happen. You'll get a little bit of luck along the way. But I genuinely do think that it's obviously going to be very tough for them. But I'd fancy them to beat Monaghan. I really would. In that semi-final. Then you're in an Ulster final. All Ireland quarterfinals. It's a really, really realistic possibility that Derry could be serious dark horses now, and could very well be in the conversation for the All Ireland Senior Football Championship. I really do, because if you go away to Tyrone and beat them the way that you did, defend it the way that they did, and let's not forget Derry, the best defense statistically across all 4 divisions in the National Football League. So they are very, very good defensively. I know they shipped 4 goals against Galway that time around in the league, but other than that, I think they've done very, very well defensively. But yeah, Shane says, soft or not, it's a red. He was stupid to kick out when he had a free. Wouldn't you think senior inter-county footballers would have a bit more sense than that? And that is a fair point. And Tyrone have had a lot of red cards this year. They've had a lot of red cards. They're nearly going into double digits of red cards at this stage. They got 3 against Armagh. Obviously, the 1 against Fermanagh, 2 today. I'm sure they've had a few other ones in there that I can't remember off the top of my head. So a lot of red cards, a lot of indiscipline, and it's, look, those red cards will probably be overturned for the first round of the qualifiers, because almost every red card seems to get overturned. But we'll see what happens. But look, the day belongs to Derry. Massive, massive opportunity for them now to do something special. I just hope they build on this. I hope this isn't just like a once-off big win. It'd be great to see. It's great to see new counties back at the top table. Obviously, Derry, historic county in the 90s, won an All-Ireland in, what was it, 93, I think, off the top of my head. But I've always had big players, good players. But it'd be great to see them, go far, get to a semi-final maybe of the All-Ireland, or, just go far. But it will be tough for them, because there's a lot of good teams in Ulster. And I suppose we'll see now what they're made of going up against Monaghan. But I would fancy them against Monaghan, because I do think there is a lot of inconsistency around Monaghan at times. And I think Derry maybe could capitalise on that. But I've seen someone else there asking where the game will be played. I've no idea, to be honest. I've no idea. It could be neutral venue, maybe the Athletic Grounds or something like that. I don't really know. I don't know how it works in Ulster, whether they do the home and away rule. I'm not sure. But Patrick says here, you don't want to get Tyrone on their bad side and they can lose it. Yeah, but at the same time, they're very easily wound up for some reason, and they do seem to be getting very easily wound up at the minute. Sharon says Tyrone could turn it on in the qualifiers. Look, as I said, when I did my All-Ireland predictions video, I always felt like they'd get caught in Ulster. I just had a feeling. I didn't think it would be against Derry, to be honest. I thought it would be against Monaghan maybe, or Ulster final. But, Tyrone going into the qualifiers, we've seen them do it time and time again where they build through there. Historically, they've done that a lot, numerous times. Obviously, this team is kind of a different team, so we'll see how they react now going into the qualifiers. But it'll be interesting. But as I said, if Tyrone get Mayo, that would be just like, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? You'd love to see it, but it'd also be very strange seeing one of them get knocked out so early in the championship. But it is a realistic possibility. And yeah, I don't even know when that draw is, but maybe I'll find that out after this video. But yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in. If you could smash the like button and subscribe, be much appreciated. Be going live tomorrow at 2:00 to review all the weekend's football action. Plenty of big games to discuss. Obviously, Kildare in the end very comprehensively beat Louth from what I've seen there. Very comfortable results. So they dealt with their banana skin very efficiently. Clare and Limerick went to penalties. I mean, absolutely mental scenes there. So we'll be discussing all that tomorrow. So yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in, and I'll see you all in the next one.